Okay, there's somebody outside of my house and it's wigging me out, but whatever. Now that I've uploaded 4 consecutive-ish videos, I thought it'd be fun for you to get to know me a little bit more. And so I compiled a list of like bookish facts about me that I wanted to share with you all today. So let's talk about it. Move this back a little. You're too close and it's freaking me out. Anyway, number 1, I most often read propped up on tons and tons and tons of pillows in my bed because it's the most comfortable place to read. But I also read on this couch over here and at my desk at work. I don't like to read sitting up because it hurts my neck. My favorite author is Cassie Clare. I'm not sorry about it. I have a lot of bookmarks. Hang on a second. This thing right here, full of bookmarks. I tend to use just one. For reference, it's this one. We've already talked about this, but my favorite genre is definitely fantasy. Even though I've tried several times, I can't get into audiobooks. My mind just wanders too much. It's not for me. Here's a fun thing. I actually use my Kindle a lot at work because it's easier to carry around and I don't get busted reading. Even though I'm allowed to read at work, it's just easier to not have a big giant fantasy book on my desk at all times. Obviously though, I prefer physical books, as you can see from behind me. Most often, I would prefer to have a hardcover book for my library. However, I don't discriminate because paperbacks are awesome, especially if they're really floppy like that. Love that. When I buy a book in a series, I like for it to all be in the same format. Which is why, as you can see here, all of my Cassie Clares, except for this one right here, are the same format. This right here drives me nuts. But this book is not released in this format yet, so have to make do. I had to read that this year. If you follow me on Goodreads, which you probably don't because I never plug Goodreads on here, I don't even think I have it linked below, but whatever. If you follow me on Goodreads, then you probably have noticed that I rate books quite highly. That's because I'm generally an easy to please reader. However, I'm trying to be more critical of my reading. But the thing is, I spent almost 10 years working my bachelor's degree, the whole time having to be a critical reader. Therefore, when I'm reading for fun, I'd like to just enjoy myself. That's the point. In order to become a more critical reader, I like to jot down thoughts that I have in this wonderful journal that my mother-in-law got me for my birthday. That's how I generate what I think are pretty decent book reviews on my website. Yeah. Active reading makes a more critical reader. I'm the sort of person who doesn't like to DNF books, meaning more often than not, even if I hate a book, I'm going to force myself to finish it, with the exception of A Tale of Two Cities and Wuthering Heights. By the way, I'm adding that because it took me more than a year to read Duma Key. And I should have just DNF'd it because I didn't like that book at all. Still don't think that I would ever purchase it for my personal collection. And it almost turned me off of Stephen King forever. Least favorite genres: science fiction, historical fiction. I'm trying to get more into historical fiction. I have read some that have just been delightful, but science fiction I kind of struggle with still. When I was in elementary school, my favorite books were the Goosebumps books. Unfortunately, they were also my classmates' favorite books, so I hardly ever got to borrow them from the school library. Which is what turned me on to these books called The Bailey School Kids or The Adventures of the Bailey School Kids. I have some over there for my children to read when they grow up because I love them so much. I like to write, but I don't think I'm creative enough to write a novel. So probably won't ever see one from me, but that's okay because I like to write like creative nonfiction. And by creative nonfiction, I mean I like to talk about the really sad things that happen in my life in writing format. So more like creative journaling or whatever the case may be, personal essay, whatever. I unashamedly skim ahead when something exciting is happening in a book. And then I kick myself for skimming ahead because then I've spoiled what is going to happen for myself. So yeah, this is who I am. I hate it. If you know how to change it, let me know. When I was in 4th grade, I discovered Harry Potter thanks to my friend Olivia. She moved after 4th grade and I did not have any means of staying in contact with her because that was in like 1999 or something like that. We didn't have a computer back then at my house, so I lost touch with her and I wish that I had been able to maintain contact because she introduced me to something that I have loved for all of my adolescence and most of my adult life. Even though I am a 28-year-old lady, I still love YA and I'm not sorry about it. I probably will always love YA. There is something so compelling about YA authors and their writing that I just can't help but turned to YA, which is why you will see that most of my collection is young adult fiction. I am allowed to dog ear my books because they're mine. But if you dog ear my books, you will never borrow from my library again. That's a fact. A lot of the books that you see on these shelves were purchased online. I don't like to take my children out to stores because they're pretty naughty. But if I don't buy them online, I buy them at library sales or book sales that benefit the local Humane Society. Or there's one bookstore that I like to go to called Half Price Books. Most of my books have come from there or online or book sales. My best friend and I, we have matching Harry Potter tattoos. I can't show it to you because it's like right here on my ribs and I don't know you like that, but it's right here and hers is also on her rib cage. We named our children after popular characters in classic literature. So we have Sawyer and Oliver, which if you don't know, Tom Sawyer and Oliver Twist. If you can't tell from right here, my Hogwarts house is Slytherin, but I also might be a little Ravenclaw. The jury's still out. My drink of choice when reading is coffee, but because I read a lot at night, coffee's not always the best option for me, so I will drink tea, like sleepy time tea or water. My books currently have no real organization to them. They're mostly just organized by read, unread. I do like to snack while I read, and my favorite snacks at the moment while I read are salt and pepper pistachios and Cadbury mini eggs. I don't actually know how many facts this is about me, so like, sorry about it. We'll figure it out when I'm editing, but yeah, that's all about me. You can find links to find me other places on the internet, like my blog, Twitter, and Instagram, in the description box below. What I'd like to know from you is what your Hogwarts house is, obviously, and also, if you could just tell me like one of your favorite books, I would love to hear that also, because I don't think that I have enough on my TBR, to be quite honest with you. So like, let me know. I'd really love to hear about it. Otherwise, I'll see you next time in my next video. Thank you so much for watching and goodbye. P.S. I was like so hype in this video and I don't know why, so like, sorry about it.